the Bruiser and Ernie the Big Cat Lad as a tag team versus the Valiant brothers. Fans, this great matchup. And here's where you put two former enemies together as a tag team. These two guys beat on each other for so long, they finally decided to call a truce. And we as promoters in the wrestling game decided, hey, I got an idea. Let's take advantage of these two big roughhouse guys. Because they've called the truce, let's team them up. They gotta be the roughest, wildest, toughest two we can get together. And the Crusher was off doing his thing somewhere and having a ball, so that's what happened. We teamed up Dick the Bruiser and Big Ernie the Cat Lad, two great former pro football stars in the NFL, and what do you got? Hey, you got a team that's almost invincible. Annihilation Incorporated. Well, hey, that's one of the nicknames we use for Bruno and Bruiser, but it really holds true with this guy. There, wait a minute. Pepper Gomez is acting as a second in this battle, and he just decked Bobby Heenan. And let me tell you, Bobby Heenan was very irate about this. Big Ernie the Cat Lad was one of his proteges that he brought along in the business. Now, Superstar Graham says, wait a minute, hold it, stop the match, let's get off here. Wait a minute, Heenan's been injured. Heenan got a low blow here. And the fans are all yelling and screaming, and it's really wild here because what has just happened is Heenan was decked by Pepper Gomez, who was in Bruiser and Lad's corner. In the meantime, Superstar came on. He's in the Valiant's corner, and we got a 6 brawl here. Out of the ring goes Heenan, and the gendarmes are moving in. Hey, don't make any arrests yet because we got to continue this match. Look at that, Bruiser and Lad. Look at what they're doing. They're doing that old Crusher Bruiser thing, right? The old knock 'em, rock 'em, sock 'em, after you win, you pound on each other. Bruiser taught that to Lad. I want to tell you, that Lad had a lot of guts. Bruiser loved Lad. He says, you know, Bob, I never met a guy as tough as Lad. After the match, he says, his knees, so had one knee that he got hurt in pro football, had 4 operations on. He says, they had to drain it right there in the dressing room, he says. And that guy just sat there, and they drained that knee, Bob. I want to tell you, and he went out that night, and he was cabareting, partying, dancing. It says, hey, he was one of the toughest guys I ever met. Bruiser loved Ernie the Big Cat Lad, because Ernie the Big Cat Lad had that one essential ingredient for greatness. Guts. G. And hey, remember this match. This was a rough match, a tough match. The Valiants were right on top. That's right. They were going everywhere. They were in California. They were in New York. They were in Japan. Hey, they were the toast of the Orient. That's right. They were the best. They were in headlined everywhere in America. And this night, they took a beating that few teams ever take in their whole life. But it only goes to prove one thing. What goes around comes around. If you wait long enough, you're gonna get it. And they got it. Right there, they're taking the punishment. Right? They're standing right in there trying to deal with these two big pro football players, and they can't handle it. When you're in the NFL and you're in the trenches, buddy, hey, you're fighting for your life every Sunday, right? That's right. So this is where it's at with Big Cat Lad, Ernie the Big Cat Lad. I want to tell you, this guy is super big, super big. I love him. I love Ernie the Big Cat Lad. Ernie the Big Cat Lad, I hope you are watching this video wherever you are. Send me a wire or call me on the phone. But don't call me collect. That's right, Ernie the Big Cat Lad, my favorite guy. Hey, let me tell you, one of the great statistics on Ernie the Big Cat. His mother was 6 foot, 245 pounds, and his dad was 6'65". He couldn't lose. Man, any kid would have to be big like him, right? He couldn't lose, that's right. Just like the Giant. He's sort of like the Giant. He was such a monster man. And look at that build he had, see? Ernie the Big Cat Lad. He had a lot of weight on him, but let me tell you, look at them legs and thighs, see? Huh? Used to have those knee pads on because, of course, He got ball, but you see him in there fighting, banging. That's, hey, John Valiant. That's Luscious John. Look at Luscious John in there, staying toe-to-toe with the big man. That's my Bane of the Greats. Oh, boy, we got a real problem now. Dick the Bruiser's drag Superstar to corner. Hey, we're going wild here. This is fantastic. This should have been in the cage. I call this without the cage madness, because this should have had a cage around it, this match. But we didn't have a cage that night, so we went with it anyway. And this is what you got: blood.